Valerie Chavez is a realtor based in San Antonio, Texas. She's been in the business since 2017 as a solo agent and completed our Follow Boss setup in May of 2024, so just a little over a year ago. She's already started seeing results in her business, and today we'll be hearing about Valerie's experience with her not only her real estate journey, but also her experience with Kee Technology and how the setup has helped her so far. Valerie, thank you so much for joining me today for this conversation.
Thank you.
Before we dive into specifically our setup and Follow Boss, I'd love to hear how you originally joined the real estate industry.
So I worked for a major company for 20 years actually, and my son actually got into real estate and got his own business, made his own brokerage, and let me know that it was a great thing to do and wanted me to switch over. So after 20 years, I decided to make the change just for a different career and got into real estate. And I wish I would have done it sooner. But yeah, that's how I got into real estate. And now I'm, here to 2025, still in real estate, going, strong and just trying to keep up with the market.
Yeah, always changing and having to adjust for
Yes.
sure. And whenever you joined the real estate industry in 2017, where did you get your first transaction from?
So actually, it was from our company. It was a lead that came from our company. It was my first one. So very nervous, but I was able to do it. I was still working with the corporate company when I got my first lead, but then it was like a part-time thing that I was doing real estate just to get started. But I found out that it was really tough, and I had to do real estate, full time. That's what made me, make the jump and come to real estate full time. But yeah, I got it from our company. It was a good one and very memorable, and yeah, that's where I got it from.
Was it a purchase or a
Yeah, it was a
sale?
purchase. It was a young lady that was just starting her, her search, and it was her first time buying. So I learned a lot too, getting her with a lender and everything, on how, the down payment assistance programs work and all of that. But we were able to find her a nice, beautiful 3 bedroom, 2 bath home. She was happy, so I was happy.
That's good. That's good. So, what would you say if you were to name one or two things? What's been the biggest difference between when you first started in the business to today, 8 years later?
Well, I've learned a lot. I mean, there's always, things to learn. I've done traditional, I've done investment properties, new builds, and just helping people is what I like to do. And it just, makes me happy to make someone happy. So I think from the beginning, I've learned a lot, using, your key technologies. When I connected with you guys, y'all have helped me a lot with everything that y'all did. I use Follow Up Boss for my CRM. So um, yeah, I was able to connect more, have more clients, and be able to reach more clients easier than I did before, because I used to use just a spreadsheet, and try to do my own follow up based on my experience. And using Follow Up Boss now with the action plans that y'all set up for me has helped me tremendously.
Yeah, and before we started recording, there was something exciting you shared about last year specifically. It was a record year. Do you mind sharing
Oh,
a little
yes.
bit more about
So
that?
last year was my first time that I hit six figures. Super excited about that because that was kind of a goal that I had. Now I have a bigger goal. Of course, everybody goes up on their goals once they hit it, but that was like awesome. And I know it had a lot to do with, the experience that I've gotten these 7 years plus this CRM that I use.
Yeah, that's great. Out of curiosity, if you're sharing, how many hours do you work a week to hit your goals?
I mean, I work a lot, so I don't have any little ones or anything that I, need to be attending to, or, school stuff like that. So that kind of works for me. This is my baby, my work, and I love real estate. So I work about, I want to say about 60 hours, 50 hours maybe. But I mean, it's off and on because I do take my time off during the day. There's something I need to do or something I need to attend. I go do that. So I'm not saying that I work consistently, all day. I take some time off during the day just when I want to, but it doesn't even seem like work because, I mean, yes, I take calls and, do work while I'm out or whatever. But, I work pretty much, but you can't even, it's not like I feel the 60 hours,
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
you enjoy it.
I enjoy it. Yes.
That's good. Would you be open to sharing where you get the majority of your business from? Is it online leads? Is it your sphere of influence? What's that look like?
So since I've started, I've kept track of all my clients, right? So I have about 1,000 clients in my CRM, and they're not all clients. They're people just calling to ask questions, things like that. So I have all of them. I do use Redfin um, a lot because I got a lot of pay at close lead generators. I do pay some for some lead generators as well, some investment lead generators. As they come in, they go straight to my follow up boss and they stay in there. So I'm able to continue to connect with them, using the batch emails. So that helps me a lot because, I feel like you already have them in there. At one point in time, they were wanting to sell or buy. So you just keep following up with them and eventually they'll respond. But the lead generators is what I use a lot. Yes, some friends and family. I use social media a lot, but mostly the pay at close is what works for me, and lead
Yeah.
generators.
Typically, how quick how quickly is someone ready to buy or sell when they come from a pay at closing
Um,
approach?
I want to say, I mean, sometimes they say they're, ready right away, but after really getting into it, going into the pre-approval process and everything, or even the sell, then they start kind of backing out a little bit. I want to say maybe about 3 to 6 months, maybe. I mean, sometimes are ready. Like a lot of investors will call and they're ready to buy, in the next week or right now, But as far as the ones that need to go through the pre-approval and everything, I want to say 3 to 6 months. I mean, some of them don't buy at all. They don't end up buying at all. But I just continue to follow up with them.
Yeah. How did now segueing over to Follow Boss, how did you find out about Follow Boss and decide to use that as your CRM?
So I was trying to find a CRM and I tried quite a few. Um, but I don't know. It was just something that I didn't stick with because either I didn't like it or I didn't like how it worked. But then as I was looking I was on Facebook and I heard about Follow Up Boss. So I started looking into it and, I tried it out. Once I tried it out, I was like, okay, I like this one. Back when I worked with the corporate company, it was all about keeping notes, so you can keep track of what's happening and you don't sound silly when you try to follow up and you just like, hey, what you talked about the last time you talked about. So I kind of just used it and then I ended up going with it, for just I signed up and stayed with it. And then on Facebook, they have their own Facebook group. So then I started reading, and that's how I found out about you. So that's when I reached out to you guys, and y'all did the plan for me. Y'all set everything up, my action plans, my automations, and that's where everything changed for me. Mhm.
Yeah, do you mind sharing a bit about what Follow Boss looks like for you now
Oh, like I
compared to what
mentioned,
you
I
were
I
doing?
have about 1,000 people in there, a little bit over 1,000. Um, I love, I mean, the task, it's something with the cheat sheet that you provided me with. I learned it. I follow it every day. The first thing I do is check my task, and people are on there because you're saying, okay, you're putting your follow up in one day, follow up in 3 days, in 3 weeks. So every day there's somebody there and something to do, so that has helped me a lot because I feel like if you get a lead, you need to call them right now, right at the point where you get that lead. Um, in order to probably have a good connection, people like that. And the great thing about this is I have it connected to where if I get a lead, it goes straight into Follow Up Boss. And then guess what? They get a text and an email at that moment. And all I have to do is pick up the phone and call them. I mean, it doesn't happen all the time. Sometimes I have to, I'm busy and I can't call right away, but at least they got the text and the email. So I love that part of it, because they'll respond. And when you make your own action plans or even the ones that you made for us, it'll say someone's going to call you, as soon as possible. So I can call them right away, but I try to follow up with them right away.
Yeah. And you said that people are responding. Are you able to kind of gauge on average how many people are responding to those
I mean,
action plans?
let's say out of 5 leads, I would say like 3, maybe. They do respond. Sometimes you got, when I call, I'll ask them, oh, I sent you a text or an email. Oh, yes, I saw it, but they were busy or whatever. But
Hmm.
they typically do respond right away.
Yeah.
Hmm.
People have different preferences
Hmm.
for how
Hmm.
they communicate, for
And
sure.
I have kind of edited some of the action plans just to, I mean, they're great, but I'll edit a few words just to sound a little bit more personal. Yeah, and they respond, I don't think that they feel it's just a computer, because I mean, it is a computer, but when I see it, oh yes, I'm trying to sell my house, or they respond, so I try to get back with them right away.
Yeah. And what led to your decision to hiring outside help instead of wanting to figure out and learn follow boss on your own?
I just felt that that was going to be a push for me. I'm still learning a lot about it. There's probably some things that I don't use on it, but knowing that y'all did everything for me as far as setting up the action plans, the automations, um, I knew that was going to be a push for me. And it definitely was, because it saved me so much time, like the templates. It just saves me so much time. I'm not sitting there typing or having to stop and, respond. I just go to the template, and it says there's so many templates that to respond with. So it was just good. And it was a really good push for me, because now it's just every day I look at it. Every day in the morning, during the day, people are emailing me and calling me through the follow up boss. We have the phone number, so I'm able to use that as well. But that's I thought this is what I need, because I didn't have any action plans. And then when I try to do them, I was like, oh no, I need to get them to do it for me. So yeah, it's great though.
Yeah. You said you had the phone number. Do you use the follow boss dialer and the app to call through it?
On the app, I do use the app. I don't use a dialer, but on the app, I do call from Follow Up Boss to
Yeah.
my clients. Yes.
That's cool. So before our call today, we took some time to look at your reporting in Follow Boss and wanted to share some fun stats. So as I mentioned earlier, we implemented your Follow Boss account and the setup in May of last year. And following that, we pulled some statistics to compare the second half of 2024 to the first half. So overall, your average contact attempts went up 16%. But what's really impressive is specifically your call attempts went up 36%
Mm-hmm.
compared to the first half of the year, and text attempts went up 400%.
Mm-hmm.
And your lead response rate as a result of that went up overall 62%. That's just over all types of communication, but specifically over phone,
Mm-hmm.
response rate increased to 260% and text 200%. So if you were ever curious if it was worth your effort
Yes.
to make those calls and send those text messages, the answer is yes. And then specifically your top 2 performing action plans that we've given you so far, that we've logged is the action plan you use most often for your Redfin leads has an engagement rate of 85%,
Mm-hmm.
which means either the leads responding directly to one of the emails or the text message to the action plan, or you've reached them yourself. Or and then the other one is new buyer leads 100%, or that's what it's um, averaging to, because Follow Boss doesn't do decimal points. So either it's like 99
Yes.
point something or
And
100,
that sounds accurate.
100%, which is awesome. I don't see that very often. So props to you and
Yeah.
all of your efforts.
Mm.
You're not just saying that you do these things.
Yeah.
This is proof here that you are putting in the work.
Yes. Yes.
So that's awesome. Congrats to
Thank
you.
you.
So, Valerie, one final question for you before we go. I'd love to hear, and especially for our viewers and listeners, one tip or strategy be open to sharing that's had some type of impact for your business and your business
Mm-hmm.
growth.
So my experience has always been in sales. As I mentioned, I worked for a corporate company for 20 years, and it was all about customers and sales. So follow up, I think, is key. Um, even if, they call you, you get a lead and you follow up with them, every now and then. I think just trying to get in touch with them right away. And then if they tell you, call me in a couple of weeks, call them in a couple of weeks, call me on this date, call them on that date, just to let them know that you're paying attention and, you really want to help them. But this follow up boss has helped me so much to be able to continue to follow up, because you literally go in there and put follow up in 1 day, follow up in 2 days. You can put the dates. But I think you know, just following up, just continuing to call them until they tell you, don't call me no more, or, I'm not going to sell my house no more, whatever the case is. I think it just shows that you're really trying to help them get done what they wanted, because at the end of the day, they're the ones that called you, to sell their property or buy a property, and all you're doing is doing what they asked.
Yeah. Whenever you make those calls to follow up, are you following a script that you've learned? Does it vary depending on the person you talk to? What are you typically
I
saying?
mean, when I first talk to them, of course I make all my notes, and that's why I love the CRM, because I make all my notes. So when I'm ready to call them again, if they tell me, "Oh, call me in 2 months," I will call them in 2 months and remind them what we talked about before. And then that, "Oh, okay." And then we, continue to connect, because some people will be like, "I don't even know who you are. What are you talking about?" "Oh, well, this just happened to me a little while ago." She was like, "I don't know what you're talking about. Who are you?" I'm like, "Well, back on May 14th, we spoke. You wanted to move to New Mexico, and you said you were working from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So you would let me know when you had time, for me to come and see the house." And then she was like, "Oh." So, when you give them back what they said to you, they cannot no longer say they didn't talk to you and they don't know who you are.
Yeah.
But I mean, just, keeping notes of what you talked about and continue to follow up and care and help, help them. I think that is something that we need to continue to do.
Yeah. That's great. Valerie, thank you for sharing
Hmm.
your experience. Thank you for that advice for everyone listening in. I appreciate your time and I won't keep you any longer.
Okay.
Thank you so much,
Okay.
Valerie.
Thank you.